homies now.
My first outside guest, like aside from like the inner core group of people I work with, was Genetics. Was like the first person I was like, yo, you should come on my show and shit. And I recorded it and it was just all fucked up. It is recording right now, but I'm just gonna fucking.
No, you're good.
I just did it for in case there's something just special we do drop.
100%.
We won't actually start it till Ben gets here because Ben operates the cameras. Because what I do is I just record it all into OBS and then I use the Stream Deck to switch between the cameras.
Fire.
And he's the best I've ever used at making it to where it's a very organic, like he doesn't overdo it or underdo it. Mm-hmm. He does that like baby bear porch.
See, what I did was like I told the guy Anthony Lala, I was like, you can have somebody do that, which is, you know, but you're not always gonna have the access to somebody unless like they're out. Well, he's a millionaire, so he could pay whatever. But I told him, I was like, you know, it's if you want to just pop up one time, you and your wife are like, oh wait, this is a great conversation. Let's go get this in front of the camera. I showed him how he can, because he does it through just regular cameras. But I was like, if you have an OBS system set up, you still just record all 3 cameras solo and then edit them later, but it still takes a little bit more time. Like, I was going through editing stuff, and I was like, it's kind of annoying having to crop it and do all the stuff when you could just do it in there, and it's already zoomed in on the person, you got the resolution set already, and it's done. Because, like, that's what I would love to have it. Like, when I do my podcast with somebody, I would love to have somebody behind the boards doing the other stuff.
Well, it's because I also do the audio into here, and then Steve Brown masters it all.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
That's fire.
So
I
like,
love it.
Well,
yeah,
this records, this
yeah.
records in 3 different stems, all 3 of the audios, and then I send it to him, and he fucking.
Also, if you were to use these for anything, it also records that as a separate stem.
Same with like
Bluetooth
when
all
I do
that
my
stuff.
phone. So
yeah.
what's also dope about this is I've been able to like have people like actually rap on the podcast now.
Yeah,
there's no latency.
Yep, and you can do
when
the
I
beat
put the
through here
headphones
too,
on, the beat goes right through. I'm like, oh my god, finally,
Yes.
thank you. It's just been hell trying to get that set up or like cue a beat or
That's
a music
fire.
video. So it's made this so fucking seamless and just actual to where I can like dump it out. And realistically, Steve charges me $30 for the mastering.
I mean, honestly, podcast stuff shouldn't cost that much because it's really quick and simple usually, unless it's like a 4-hour podcast and you have to chop up. Like, there's some times where like I've seen on editing things where I'm looking for like just bookings and stuff, and I'll see people like, I have all it chopped up, and you just need to normal, you know, get it cleaned up so that there's no background noise and make sure everybody sounds clear. But then there's other ones where it's like, I have 8 hours of audio that I want to chop down to 25 minutes. It's like,
see, I don't have them do any of that. I have them just add just put them all
first
in
intro
one
song and all that stuff too.
No, none of that. I just have
really?
put it all into one file and have that master compression that
wow.
I like, the sound I like.
Yep.
Where when I would like just upload the recordings before, it either all mics would be on one file, and it just wouldn't have that power, or I couldn't turn up an individual who was quiet or not. So that fucking sucked about it. So he just sends it all back to me in one file. I take the file, put it on the video from this.
Okay.
And a different thing. I add like the intros or any chops or cuts or anything I want to pull out of it.
Smart.
It's just to make it more as cheap as I can do it and as high quality as I can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Smart.
So I pay my dude $20 an hour to come and press the fucking button. Usually I keep it under an hour. I send it to him for 30. I can get every episode done with $50. I think as somebody who outsources certain factors of it, that's pretty cheap in the grand scheme of the podcast, especially if this actually takes off and I get real traction. I don't consider any of these expenses anymore because I've already paid for them. They already, you know what I'm saying? I've considered selling one of these mics just because this only takes 4 inputs, and I fucking hate more than 3 people on a podcast.
Right,
anyways.
it kind of gets super like absurd, and like too many people try to talk over each other, and it's so unorganized and it's
chaos.
Hard
it's as a listener, I don't like a fucking 5
No,
person
I've
podcast.
sat there and listened to so many podcasts where like all of a sudden I'm hearing like 5 or 6 people. I'm like, change.
And then I even give because I give my editor a mic too because I just like well, another thing I do that he can do that I think is fun. I'll show you real quick. Is if he ever wants to, just for shits and giggles, he can fucking pop this in.
Oh, that's fire.
And pop in the little editor screen.
Hey guys, it's me here.
I'm here, just for the fun factor of it.
That is super dope. Now, you got a nice little setup here, man. I'm really happy for you and proud of you for this shit, bro. Like, it's really, really good looking. Like, it from the podcasts I've seen from the start to now, like, it's definitely been a progression for sure because, like, I remember the first one, it was, like, super, like, everybody's first one is just everything is like this. Like, I remember my first recording was like this, but it was a little blurry, it wasn't really like the best camera angles, but now it's like I watch them and I'm like, I feel like I'm really watching a good ass podcast right now. Like,
and there's just so many different ways you can do it to find out how you like to do it, to utilize what you already have too as well. Like when I do a podcast that I need all 5, what I do is I hook my fifth mic through my Focusrite and I recorded in OBS.
There you go.
And then I just send that one file over with the other
Yep.
4 that are already. What's sick about this though is that literally like puts all the stems in a file already.
In a folder.
In a folder, fucking it. This thing is.
So I plugged the external hard drive that I had into the back of it, and I made that instead of doing it like on the SD disk or whatever. And I just had that plugged into there, and you could literally just walk around with it and like record stuff. It didn't even matter. I was like, this is fucking dope. So like I would.
So you've actually recorded songs on this?
No, I've done like 4 or 5 podcasts on these.
Okay.
And I've seen people use them for songs. I even seen a video of a guy using these for beats. Because apparently when you plug this into your computer, and you could do both at the same time. So you can apparently be like using one side for the podcast right now, but I could still have it plugged up into my computer and still be using it for something else. It's so weird. But this thing has 2 sound cards in it and all that stuff. But this, when I was looking up videos on how to use the Bluetooth, because that's the one thing I couldn't really figure out was how to get the Bluetooth to work with the microphone. Because he wanted to go live and be able to talk to the people, but have the quality from this mic in his live, and then also have their audio coming through into whoever's listening to the live and record it as like a podcast thing. So, or even video calls and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, well, let's figure that out. Video calls worked, and then live didn't work. So I had to figure out why, figured it out, set it up. And I was like, when I was looking it up, I seen a guy making beats with this, and I was like.
So that was my biggest struggle. It's like an audio file. I used to go live on some episodes of the podcast. Mm-hmm. When you go back and you listen to the live recording compared to one of my recordings from the last season, it just sounds like you have to turn the volume all the way up just to even kind of get it. And it's just like, dude, I did not pay as much as I did for these mics for that. And then I'm like, is it due to my interface? Is my interface not picking up the quality? And it's just due to the fact that it's also hard to get that quality on a live stream.
Right. And these mics also, honestly, so this has a built-in cloud lifter in it. Yeah. Where a lot of things don't. So your interface is not going to record it half as loud as these. No. And these have to have the cloud lifter if you don't have that on it. So if not, it's going to be so minimal of volume, it's going to be annoying. And everybody that I've had buy this microphone, they didn't buy the cloud lifter, and they plug it in their interface, like, bro, why is the mic so quiet? And the cloud lifter, these are made for like people to be screaming on. This is why like when you see somebody like doing screamo music, most of the time you see them on this.
I've noticed that
because this thing can handle so much shit. Like you can put this thing in front of like the loudest snare drum in the world, and it will not clip. Like this is a super low volume microphone. So therefore, when you put the cloud lifter in it, what it does is it eliminates, when you crank the volume of like one of these inputs up all the way, you're pulling so much volume through this wire and line that it's pulling air, background noise, stuff like that. The cloud lifter, what it does is it lifts the ground, or it lowers the ground level noise, and it raises the gain of the microphone. So the ground level stays very quiet, and you don't get a lot of buzzing, hissing, stuff like that. And then it still gives you that super clean audio, and it sounds 10 times louder. So that's why you always got to buy those with these, because if not, you're going to be like, bro, why is my shit so quiet? And even on lives. But I have this, it actually will probably sync with this perfectly, but I have the Rode mics that you can do.
Yeah. So I have the Tascams.
Yeah.
That I bought. It was funny. I can't remember what the website was to rent them off of. Coop was telling me, he's like, you could just rent them. I was like, fuck that. I ended up buying 2 Tascam clip-ons. They're like $200 each. I've literally I've used them twice and never released anything I've used with them.
I've used them for some content, and I've used them for just like recording.
I want them for skits.
Yeah, recording conversations and skits and stuff, because I wanted a couple of my artists that I work with down in Florida to like go and kind of go walk around town, like, hey, so here's a question. Have you ever heard of this person? And they ask them if they know that. Like,
so I plan to do that as well, but what I want to do is put them on a different mic for aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the microphone aesthetic.
Yeah. Put it on like a spatula or something. Like.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. No, I was just going to get like just a carry around microphone.
Dude, my friend did that. He put it on a spatula just to be funny because it has a clip on it. So he was like, dude, this is going to be fucking hilarious. He clipped it on the rubber spatula, and he's like walking around going like that to people, and people were like dying laughing because it was a spatula. It's like, why are you putting this spatula on my face? Like,
I got to hit some on the street things. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I keep putting off. And it's just like, I like to collect my energy in the proper channels to where
and honestly, it also depends on the song, because like, for instance, all right, I'll use Zach G as an example, okay? He did his Christmas song. He went around the mall and did all that stuff, and I had a feeling that I was going to make that shit blow the hell up, and like, sure enough, that was like his most streamed song. Like, that shit got, as soon as he dropped it, it was blowing up, because he went around and talked to people on Lemoyne, he talked to people in the mall, he got kicked out of the mall, videotaped every single thing, but he was walking up to people, hey, do you like rap music? Do you listen to these type of artists? Okay, well, would you take a listen to my song real quick? I'm actually a rapper. And they'll listen to it and they'll be like, damn, this is fire. But it was like, it's not even his style of music, but it's a turn up song. So like people were fucking with it. And that content right there is king. Like I
have so much love and respect for his content creation and the way he dumps them out and him doing his like the fucking TikTok. And I hate to swear when I'm saying like I'm shitting on, but like the way he does the fucking subtitles and his TikToks, like those just catch people's eye. And it's crazy. And I hate pandering. So I'm always like, I'm not going to do this shit. And now today I'm sitting there trying to make a fucking cool thumbnail and shit like that. And
it's honestly, it's so hard because like, this is something I want to talk about for sure when we get deep into the podcast because it's like...
Which I feel like I'm going to put a couple chunks of this in.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we're riffing already.
Hell yeah. I think artists today don't realize how important content is. And it's some artists are so stubborn that it's like, oh, I don't have to do it because my music speaks for itself. And it's like, I fully respect that. But there's also a lot of times where like, your message won't get across until you can put in content that people will actually digest.
You know, it was a perfect example is like, there's like Oliver Tree or like Swaco. Mm-hmm. Like their content is twice as big as their catalog, but it's because like, that's the true way to beat the algorithm as an artist and feed it and shit. Yeah. Welcome, Ben.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
We've been ripping and dipping already, but whenever you want to fucking just chop in and jump in. Yeah. Ben, by the way, Nate. Dynasty Beat.
What's going on, brother? How you doing,
Ben Brown.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Crazy Halloween night, huh?
Yeah?
Yeah, dude. It was cold as hell out there.
Yeah. It's almost, I can literally see my breath.
Yeah. I was like, man, this shit, I wouldn't even want to be trick-or-treating if I were a kid right now.
Yeah. I'm going to go grab a couple water bottles. You got
Yeah. No, I'm
I got my tea, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it, though.
So what you getting into, Nate?
Not much, man. I'm visiting up from Florida right now. I moved down to Florida a couple years ago, so I'm just visiting right now. I was up here for my best friend's wedding.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that was the past weekend, so I'm here until Thursday now, so I'm just trying to catch up with some people, do some sessions. And
yeah. Where'd she get married at? Or where'd they get married at?
They got married at, my friend Disco got married out in, it's called the Springside Inn out in Auburn. It's like right on Owasco Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, super beautiful out there, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was a fun wedding too, bro. I'm not gonna lie, this is the first wedding I went to where like everybody from like 80 years old to fucking 12-year-olds were dancing and like jumping around. Like it was so fucking funny, bro.
Really?
Like it was lit.
Yes.
Okay.
It was so fucking fun. It was like, like my boy's mom got up and was dancing crazy. I was like, bro, this is so fucking funny. Like I've seen sides of his family I never expected. I was like, this is hilarious. Because when my brother had his wedding, there was like nobody dancing. It was like little kids and the bride and her bridesmaids. Man, everybody.
I was gonna ask what brought you in town, but that answers the question there.
Mm-hmm.
This is at 5%.
Talk about it.
What the laptop?
That's my Alienware.
Yeah. It's a nice little setup, honestly.
Yeah, those are good computers.
It's decent. I bought it because my other laptop doesn't fucking hold a charge. I won't throw it away because it still functions and does everything a laptop should. But
you need to have it plugged in the whole time.
And I wanted it for traveling purposes so I can like go.
And honestly, those are good for graphics too. They have a really good graphic card already built into it because they're actually made for gaming. Yeah. And like people use them for like studio stuff and everything all the time.
I was told it'd be able to handle what I juice it for.
It should be able to handle the video stuff, but if you double it up with the audio like you said,
which
it definitely will. Because even a mid-grade Mac will have a hard time doing 3 cameras and audio with good processing.
Yeah.
If you're doing like low quality video, yeah. But because you're doing probably what resolution are you using these?
This is 1080.
1080. Yeah. So yeah, even that's going to be like, oh no, this is too much. There's 3 of them, so. But in general, like if you were to get one of those new Mac Studios with the M1s or the Mac Minis with the M1, that shits on everything, bro. I put up 42 reverb plugins and put a vocal playing and hit play. That I had my because in Pro Tools you can see like your system, like how it's responding. That shit on my regular laptop would have conked out before I even hit play. If I would have done 42 reverbs, it would have been like cannot load. Like it would have been having problems. I hit play and I had the volume off, but you could see all the audio meters moving and everything, and I had like super strong reverbs that were like really, really like ram heavy. Bro's thing moved up to 12%. And I was like, damn, this dude I watched this guy do 500 reverbs, and it's on his M1 Max. That thing didn't even move. I was like,
I get so dumbfounded when I think fucking of just like I've slowly over the years kind of grasped technology more and more. Not in the comparison of some of my friends like you and Ben, but it just fucking just do your job, computer.
right? Bro,
what the fuck?
It's crazy how much it's like expanded though in the past like 5 years, because like a laptop that a person bought 5 years ago is like the equivalence of a laptop that somebody bought between probably 2010 to like a 1998 computer. That's the difference in the level of the technology from 5 years to like that big ass, or maybe even 2015.
I feel like you're saying like the size of the gap in 5 years
smaller.
Is what it was 5 years ago. It was a 10-year gap between something like that. Like you could have, but that kind of fucking pisses me off because like I would like a piece of technology that lasts me 10 years.
Yeah. Right. But that's how they capitalize on us. Because they're like, you got to keep upgrading, even with programs.
These have been pretty fucking economic proof.
These guys right here, I'm not going to lie.
They haven't raised or dropped in price, and they hold.
I've seen these dropped like literally off of a stand that was like up to that ceiling fan because people are using them for like drum mics for cymbals. I've seen them drop from there. There's a big ass crate under here. That shit hit the floor. The guy picked it up, put it back up, and it was still working. I was like, there's literally no microphone that can do that. The capsule would have broke on any microphone that hits a hardwood floor or anything like that. And that shit smacked it.
I think this cost more than I wanted it to.
Yeah, they're pretty costly, but like I said, they have so many multi-uses that's why. They're like, you know what, you can do so much shit with this, and there's so much technology in this, bro. The processor alone in this, using the Aphex processing, you can do the effects that are like, these got plugins in it that are equivalent to like standard plugins you see in a live board.
And your computer isn't going to chug using that too, especially. So
I did a podcast at Funkin' Waffles with E-Man, and then I did another one at Three Lives with John Page. And both of them, to me, are audio catastrophes.
Really?
Visually fucking terrible, too. And my standards of what I want is, because I'm aiming for decent. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's me being like, really, like, I don't even think that, like, I hit decent on this podcast. I want great, obviously.
Yeah,
but right now I'm aiming for decent. And they just weren't what they should have been. And if I had this, they could have been at least
10 times better.
An audio pleasure. Yeah. Like I used the task cams actually at the Funkin' Waffles one because I had 5 guests and it was before I even had I only had the 4-port focus, right?
Yep.
And that was all going into the laptop. It glitched, it shut down, a bunch went wrong, and I feel bad because I was given those opportunities thinking I was prepared, and then learning.
But honestly,
I was not prepared.
That's gonna tie into exactly where, like, for instance, when I started engineering, bro, like, there were so many times that I was like, man, I can do this and I can do this, and I'm promoting it to people. When I first started, I'm like, you know, I can mix and master your music before I even knew what mastering was. You know, like, I'm talking like 2009, 2010, like using those words before I even knew what they really meant or anything like that. It's what happens when you dive in, you know, like, but that's how you get started with anything. Like, I tell anybody that wants to get in any creative field, like, if you're going to start, just dive in. Because if you you're never going to go in.
You know, it's a saying that just stuck with me really hard that I like is amateurs wait for ambition, professionals just go to work.
Exactly. And that's really what it is. Like, if nobody's around you helping, oh, well, fuck it. Get to work. Keep doing everything you can do to attract the people that are going to be like, yo, I want to help that person achieve that.
Ben wasn't going to make it today. I was just going to do a single cam run, and we were just going to record it like that.
Right.
You know what I'm
Make
saying?
it work.
Yeah.
You know?
Just because he also put me onto a podcast that I now enjoy that doesn't have
it's
a
one
one camera. And I'm like, oh, I fucking do like this. Because what I like about a one camera is how my mind works is like I can watch a podcast for like 5-10 minutes and then go do shit and listen to it.
Right.
And have a visual like representation of what's going on. And that
I watched this one podcast where like it's just one guy talking. Some episodes where it's just like he does solo episodes, and then other episodes he'll do a like virtual call with somebody. So you'll see the virtual camera from the other guy, and then you'll see his camera sometimes. But like those ones, honestly, I like listening to those more than I like watching those, but the solo ones, like the same thing. I could watch halfway through and then still go and listen to it because it's like I'm not losing the information and forgetting where I was, and it like doesn't feel like I lose the connection with it. It's like I feel like I'm having that one-on-one still, you know. I love that too. It's definitely a more, I think with podcasts, like a lot of people overdo it with like too many guests, too many cameras, too much special stuff. Like it's a conversation. Like just keep it simple, you know? Like the setup just needs to be simple.
Rogan said that before.
Everybody's trying to see. What's funny you say that too is I feel like everybody's trying to be Rogan too. You know, they want to have this $100,000 studio set up where you're panning the cameras, you got overhead mics, you know, boom mics coming on everything. It's like, just take it easy. Take
you
it
ever
simple,
see?
you know?
I think it's Flagrant.
Yeah.
With Andrew Schultz show. Even when Rogan was on there, he was like, he's like, what do you want? He's like, everybody wants their own talk show, which basically is what a podcast is.
Yeah.
But he has it formatted like that, where you do the clip-on mics. You can't. So what I do like about the clip-on mic thing, or a boom mic aesthetic, I do feel creates an atmosphere where people like this is could be intimidating to
Normal
just everyday person, yeah.
Right.
Like
even when somebody holds a microphone in front of their face, they feel more awkward.
You're a whole different. Even me, I've you know, I'd like to say I have maybe a year of my life behind a microphone. I still kind of have a different energy when I'm in front of it opposed to off of it.
Right. And I mean, there's a lot of people where like I see them all the time, like they'll either want to touch the microphone all the time, and you can tell they haven't been in front of a microphone because like a lot of people that if you, like you said, if you clip it on them, they're going to forget it's there. It's going to be more comfortable. Like they could just sit back and have the conversation. The only thing you have to worry about with those, and it really comes down to like whether they're moving a lot.
You run the risk of them fidgeting and not realizing they're
exactly. So that's the one thing, and then also wind sometimes, because even though they have a windscreen you can put on them, that looks ridiculous on camera. But unless you're going to tuck it under their shirt, which causes more noise, that can become a pain for the post editing. But again, going back to technology, I have plugins on my laptop I could show you where a car could drive by us and I could dial that bitch out and it could sound like we're still talking direct into this microphone with no background noise. It's insane what technology has done now.
And I mean, well, even back in the day, they had that reputably too, you know what I'm saying?
Like we had, I mean, there's always been noise gates, but like if a person were to be talking and something loud were to happen in the background, it would be super hard to take that out. Like even like a hum noise or anything like that, they didn't have. Now there's restoration plugins that take away hum, crackle, pop, stuff like that. That's been out for years. But this year they came out with this thing called like VX Clarity by Waves, and there's a few other plugins that do the same thing, but it goes deep into like the audio particles and it listens to like every little bit in there, and it tells you can like literally discern between the ambience noise and the actual vocal, and it just is amazing. Like it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen with audio stuff, because I've had times where people record in a room that's like emptier than this, and it's got like all four walls, just like, you know, when you walk into an empty house and it's just pinging off. I've heard people record and stuff like that, or even like lofts where it's just wide open.
Sounds like they're recording in a bathroom.
Yeah. And I've literally taken that plugin and dialed it over, and it sounds like they're in a booth. I'm like,
that's
yes.
a plugin for Pro Tools.
Yeah, well, it's a Waves plugin, but it's in. You can use it for post audio for this stuff too and everything. Like it works in OBS, it works in it works in video editors and everything like that too. But it's on waves.com, and I'm not sponsored by them. But
you've been doing the engineering thing now, aren't you on that?
Yeah, I'm on
Engineers. My apologies. Yeah,
Engineers. Yes, sir.
I ended up
is a super fire platform, I think, and I think what they're doing with it, with including artists that are looking for studio time and stuff like that now, because they're going to be having a studio booking thing through it too.
Are they?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So it's making it super simple for artists to, one, find reputable, actual professional people, rather than going to Fiverr where you might get somebody that's good, you might get somebody that's horrible. It actually takes a while for you to get on Engineers. When I first applied to get on there, it took me over a year to get accepted onto there, and I was one of like the third group to get accepted into Engineers.
When I found out about it, I think there was 12 engineers available on it.
Yeah.
And it was because I was trying to work with Ali.
Right, yeah. And that's what makes it cool, is like artists that either don't understand or want to understand the business more, or understand like what the difference in the quality is. Now you can go book with a platinum or a multi-gold RIAA certified engineer and see, okay, well, they charge maybe $2,000 for a mix. No master included.
Oh yeah, that's what Ali did to me.
And guess what?
That's what Ali.
If there's no beat drop sent to them, they're not adding beat drops. If there's no vocal tuning done, they're not tuning your vocals. They will literally mix what you send them. And if it's not sent right, they will send it back to you and say, we need it sent better. The thing with professional engineers that a lot of people don't understand, and because now we have this platform to show it, is yes, they have more gear, they have more time in, but, and I'm talking professionals as in like A-list level engineers nobody could really reach before. This gives you the opportunity to reach them, and you see, okay, well, they're charging $3,000 to $4,000 for a mix. I can go to also another person on this platform that's also reputable that has maybe some credits, and you can see their credits on there. You can see the people they worked with, and the coolest part is you can even see some people's portfolio. So on mine, you can see that I worked with Sig Roy. You can see that I worked with Famous Kid Brick. You can see that I worked with
Better put
Toy
me on
Lanes.
there, boy. Better put me on there.
Oh, no. I was going to say Vinnie Freeman and Riff Raff. You can see all those different ones. So you can always verify who's worked with who. And you can also listen to some of their songs. So sometimes they'll have like their engineer's portfolio where you can hear songs that they've actually mixed for people in before and afters. And then you can also hear sometimes just their Spotify portfolio. So it's like all in one, and it helps out so much, dude.
I remember besides, for a lot of people who don't know, I recorded my first demo with Dynasty when I was 15 in a studio that no longer exists.
R.I.P.
But prior to even remembering that was you, when I rediscovered the master of Dynasty, and there was a song by an artist, LAC. I can't fucking remember the exact song. I love that song. I'm gonna fucking play it now that I'm seeing you, it's like a deep cut. I just remember hearing that and being like, holy shit, I've never heard a song recorded of this quality by anybody I know. Like, everybody tries. Some people do good sounding. Like, that was when I'm like, AK Castro makes the best sounding music out of anybody I knew at that time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Which, shout out AK still.
He's fire, don't get me wrong.
He is fire. But then I heard that, I'm like, this is what a radio song should sound like. And then we did Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
That was our first song together, right? It was Nothing?
No, technically, no. It was another song you did at Infinite, but then we did Nothing at Subcat. That was our second song.
That's what I was saying. Yep. Like, I never even got to hear the Infinite.
I know.
You know who has the boards from there is
East Syracuse. What's his name? Dream Studios.
One Dream.
One Dream. Yes.
Yeah. He's sponsored.
Shout out them.
Yeah. I had James Hanse. He sponsored my first headline show.
Yeah. He always shows me love, man. Shout out James.
He shows a lot of love. Shout out James. Big
Definitely.
shout out James.
Definitely, bro. Yeah, man. I remember I was pushing you in the studio to try new things too, to get your vocals in a different tone and stuff like that for that song. And I remember
it's one of the clearest songs I have to this day.
Yeah, you freaked out when you came back in the room. You're like, bro, this sounds crazy already. This ain't even mixed. And I was like, no. You're like, this is insane. Yeah. But yeah, man, LAC was one of the project that I did with LAC was one of my favorite projects, R&B wise, they got to work on. And it was also cool because he was a rapper and R&B artist. So when we did Rose from the Concrete, Rose was the R&B side and Concrete was the rap side. So he had some rap songs that maybe had some singing in it, but it was mainly rap stuff. And then the singing side, that's where I kind of shined more because I feel like rap is a certain thing. Almost anybody can get a rapper to sound good. It's really not the hardest thing in a mix. But R&B and pop, when it comes down to mixing and getting that balance and really bringing the emotion out and making people feel that real emotion in it, it's a little bit more of a challenge. And when I worked with LAC, he was so effortless when he sang that it made my job easier, to be honest with you. I barely had to tune his vocals. I didn't even have to really try to tell him where to change notes or harmonies and stuff. This man would come in and just knock out harmony after harmony, and he was dope with it. So that really helped me grow as an engineer working with him on that project. That was actually, honestly, that project was one of the times where I felt damn, my music is really starting to sound like the radio too. So that's crazy you said that, because at that point I was starting to feel yes, I'm starting to get the whim of things.
That's cool.
It's starting to get there.
And I remember hearing it because I remember we talked online a few times and shit, and I was just and it was never in really my budget to work at a studio level because I didn't have even the belief in myself at the time, the knowledge of what I wanted to do and deliver in a studio, and I felt like it'd be a waste of my money and a waste of other people's time.
Which is understandable.
Why I worked in things, but then like it's crazy going from like recording in a home studio, recording with you at Subcat. And then I'm not even going to bring up that engineer, and then recording with that same engineer at that same studio, and realizing, it's a lot of it is the engineer too, because I've dialed. I'm good with Mike T now. I've worked with Mike T a lot, and I like working with Mike. He doesn't work me as much as like I would say somebody like you've worked me. And I know that sounds weird, but
I
like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I get that from artists all the time.
I'll tip ahead of you. I feel like you're not intimidated to correct an artist, and a lot of engineers just give you what you like. Oh, do you like it?
Exactly.
Like, yeah, but do you like it? Like, what?
Right.
Like, I'll hear it, and I tell everybody I record it, I don't like anything I fucking make. So
that is the truth. He said that to me. So I hate my fucking voice. I'm like, I love your voice, bro. It sounds so cool. Like, you have a unique voice.
So it's like, what does it need for it to sound? You know what I'm saying? More.
Yeah. And honestly, there's
delivered.
It's funny because even after I moved down to Florida, like my first couple of studio sessions, like I'm doing sessions.
Probably annoyed the fuck out of some artists, didn't you?
They were like, damn, bro. Actually, no, it was crazy because I thought I was gonna. That was the part. I was kind of nervous at first. I was like, man, when I moved down to Florida 4 years ago, I was like, all right, this is a whole different level of like engineering. There's over probably like 25 to 30 like actual like studios you can pay to go into in the area within an hour drive, not even. So there's a lot of engineers. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm used to like 5 or 6 engineers being in my city, and I was the number one booked from all the hip hop artists, pop artists.
You held hip hop down
like
hard,
literally. And so it was like I had all the R&B artists, all the hip hop artists, and most of the pop artists coming to me, and I had over 350 clients. I looked at my folder before I left. I had over 350 clients that were working with me within a year. Okay, I looked at the year from 2018 to 2019. Within that year, I worked with 350 people. And that's at Subcat. When I moved down to Florida, I didn't know one person. I didn't know anybody but my brother. And I said, all right, I'm going to get out there and get my feet on the ground. And I went out to an event, started networking with people. There was like this outside performance. And they're like, oh yeah, I work with so-and-so. I work with so-and-so. They're all talking about their engineers and stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, they're probably not going to work with me. But I still get my contact. But finally, I get people to book with me. And the first couple of people to book with me, I'm like, I'm sitting there for the first 10 minutes. I'm like, man, I feel like they could do it better. So I stop. I'm like, hey, bro, run it back one more time from the top. Give me a little more energy. He's like, I was about to say that too, bro. Thank you for doing that. He's like, man, ain't nobody ever really done that to me. All the engineers sit there and be like, all right, cool. And I'm like, yeah, see, I'm not that guy.
It's funny. A lot of them don't.
It scares me because here's the thing. As an engineer, and any engineers out there, please listen to this. You are the first listener. You do not need to listen with your technical ears and we need more compression, more EQ, or a better microphone, whatever. Forget all that stuff. Be the first listener. You're the first to hear the song actually recorded through speakers on the beat and stuff like that. So if you hear that the tone is not proper, or if you hear that, not even not proper, but it's not catching your ear the way you feel like it should be, or the artist feels like it should be, or if you feel like the artist is maybe not flowing as energetic as they need to be, tell them. Bring it out of them. The artist will appreciate that, and they'll forever remember that, man, this engineer really wanted to bring the best out of me when they were recording me and not just sitting there and going, okay, cool, yeah, and seeming annoyed. Because when you put that effort in, it goes a lot further than just having them happy with you. You have a great recording that you can mix a lot easier. Less corrections to make.
And as an artist who's experienced it firsthand, it really does last forever. That one song literally lives with me forever, and I think about it to this day and the shit that went down. And yeah, sure, it may take an extra 20, 30 minutes, which sucks. It does suck. And it is as an artist, I know it's like, fuck, you just fucking, it's something that should take 30 seconds. Why can't I just do it now? How's it been an hour? Now you're at $60 in the hole, but it's, that camera just sucks ass, dude. There's no, it's just got a little blur to it. I just wouldn't hang out on me too long.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
I had a feeling you'd go and try to.
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie.
But it really does. I've talked about it with like recording with like my buddy AJ too, who's very musically like, he's worried more about the sound than the technical, because he's not even really the best technical recorder. Mm-hmm. But I was like, man, I like how you play the Vinny, because you know what I'm saying. Like as a engineer, you kind of are trying to, you got to pull the best performance out of this artist that they could ever do of this, ever.
That's your job.
And if that's not what you're doing, then you're kind of doing a disservice to your client. Too.
Bro, I've literally told artist friends.
Like, there's magic in the room. You got to fucking stir that shit up.
Exactly. So I've had situations where an artist is feeling super like hyped about this song, and their friends came in the middle of us making the song, and their friends don't see the vision. So they're like, nah, they're ribbing on him and stuff. And I'm like, yo, if y'all ain't gonna sit here and support this and be like positive, get the fuck out. Like, I'm being dead serious, get out. They're like, what? You're not about to ruin their vibe and take away from this creativity that's in here already because you guys don't agree with it because you don't understand the vision that person has. I've been able, many times I've told people to get out because they're ruining that vibe. Like, my job is to make sure you, as the artist or whoever the client is in the booth, they have to be at their best, they have to be at their most creative, and they have to feel inspired and positive and also comfortable because, like, their comfort is everything. I've had artists where they're like, yo, bro, I want the whole studio black. I don't like working in the dark, but you know what? They're comfortable in the dark. Guess what? The studio's black. You feel me? Like, they want the screen that I'm using a little bit dimmer because it's still too bright. Okay, I'm going to dim it down just until I can see what I need to see. That's making them comfortable and making them go, damn, this dude really stepped up the extra mile to make sure I was comfortable and my song came out great. Plus, I've always learned, my mentors always told me, you got to remember that these artists have to live with these songs forever.
That's why I'm saying you got to. That's why you got to get that one best performance, at least that one best performance, because it lives forever. It's fucking.
And even when I give you the mix, like, it's got to be up to your standards and up to your creativity and ideas and stuff like that. Because when you release it, it's out to the world. Yes, people can do re-releases and remasters, but again, you ever go listen to a remaster, you're like, it doesn't feel the same. It never feels the same because you heard it 150 times one way, and then when you hear it the next way, it's like. That just doesn't feel the same.
But let's talk about the artists who get addicted to their unmastered product.
Yes, rough mix-itis.
Rough mix-itis, because I fall into it, dude.
So, yeah.
I fall into it until it takes me like a year of listening to the mastered where I'm like, oh, that is what it's supposed to sound like. Yeah. It's made me like remasters, though, that you said that.
So there are certain songs, don't get me wrong, there are certain songs from like the early 90s, they got remastered. I'm like, oh, that sounds way better. Oh, my God. But then there's other songs where it's like, it got too high fidelity and high, like...
They lose the soul.
Yeah, exactly. Let me try that. But so, I think it's hard because there's so many artists that sometimes, don't get me wrong, there are rough mixes that even I've heard by artists and they're like, bro, I want you to go crazy on this. I'm like, bro, this sounds good already. Like, I just maybe need to brighten up some stuff or maybe, like, declutter a couple things and the mix will be good. But... when people think of mixing, they think of like all these crazy steps that you have to take. And I think when people get into a rough mix stage and they listen to it 100 times or for 2 weeks straight and they're just showing everybody, it is hard to get out of that expectation of that's how it sounds. Because once you get it back from a real engineer that's going to make changes, like for instance, I sent a song to an artist one time and he was like, where do those instruments, did you add those instruments? And I was like, no. That's what happens when you bring things, you pull things out of the mix that were supposed to be out before, but they're covered up by either your vocals were way too loud and stuff like that, where you couldn't hear everything in there. And they're like, wait, this sounds way different. And at first they don't like it. And then a couple days later, like, bro, actually, never mind. I love it because I took a couple days to listen to it and now I'm really feeling it. A lot of times when you listen to a song first, you're always gonna be like, man, this sounds different. And I've had so many times where artists will message me after their first listen.
Oh, me.
And I'm like, bro, don't do that. Listen to it for a day. Go listen to it in 5 different speakers and listen to it with a bunch of people and watch their reaction.
I never show anybody my mixes, though, just for the sake of I don't want them to hear it and be like, when they hear it again, they're like, I don't like this. I liked how it sounded before and think they know what they're fucking, because let's be real, an uneducated opinion fucking is
annoying.
Almost worthless.
Yes.
It's cool, thank you, appreciate it, but it's also like, no.
Yeah. No, I take it and thanks, appreciate it, and I just dismiss it. But I mean, honestly, dude, there's definitely times where an engineer can overdo a mix, though, where they can over-process a mix because they're trying to show off. Like, I got a mix before from an artist that had an engineer do it, and there was so much stuff on there that was just not, the song wasn't calling for it. Like, there was, like, stutter effects, and it was a slower song, and I'm like, why is this guy doing all this stuff? And some engineers want to just show off everything they can do. Just like a producer, sometimes they'll do all this crazy stuff in their beat because they're like, oh, I have all these new techniques and I want to show them off. And they do it all in one beat. And it's like, okay, well, it sounds cool for that beat, but if an artist were to try to get on it, or when you listen to a mix, sure, it sounds cool as effects, but is it really adding to the song? Is it really doing something for the artist to be excited about and be like, oh, this transitioned this hook a lot better, or you made this bar stand out more by doing this? It's usually no, it's I did this to look cool and make myself as the engineer look better. And that's not a good thing because you're ending up taking away from the artist's vision that way. And there's so many times where an artist's vision is misconstrued and then the artist gets it back and like, well, I don't want an engineer to mix my stuff because the last engineer that did it did all this. And it's like, no, they were just trying to show off. But if you go to a real engineer that's going to sit and talk with you and be like, okay, whatever I do a mix for somebody, unless I really know the person, like if you were to send me a mix, I'd still ask you, but I kind of know your sound really well. So I'm like, okay, I know what Vinny doesn't like and I know what Vinny does like. Yeah. So I won't do this and I will do this. And if he wants any changes, we make them. But most artists, especially first-time artists, I will sit on the phone with them for 30 minutes and have a conversation about, okay, what's your vision for the song? And if they can't describe it to me like, oh, I want it to sound like this or sound like that, like give me the mood. Give me some songs that you listen to that you really like the sound
some references.
of. Yeah, references, and just tell me like, hey, this is kind of something that I would love for this to happen in my song. Okay, well, now I have ideas and I can build off of that, where some engineers don't even care to ask. They just get the files and go, I'm going to mix it. And they just go to town. And not helpful.
I've been watching a lot of Ink Master.
Love that show.
And do they have any like anything like? Do they have Mix Master?
I wish.
Where it's like you get all the stems from one song. 5 engineers get it.
I wish.
They got to send back.
Bro, I've been telling my girl that for so long.
That'd be such a dope show.
I'm like, I want to.
So easily done, dude.
Or producer one. A producer would be fire too. You get this like certain.
You get like
style.
a pack.
Yeah, you get a style or a drum pack or a melody
you get a pack. Everybody gets
something.
a. Well, I've seen online versions of that.
Yeah, but like I've seen 5 producers, one sample by Andrew Wong. That's fire.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a super fire like.
Is that
series.
what I'm thinking of?
There's a few different ones that do it. What they'll do is they'll get a sample
Of like a song?
Yeah, and they'll just like chop it up. But some people they chop it up so much you don't even hear the sample. It's like they use like bits of the samples, and it's like, whoa, what the hell? But honestly, I keep talking to my girl about this every time we watch those type of shows. I'm like, man, I wish there was a show like that where you would see engineers getting like all these different genres of songs.
Like you get like, how about this? You even get stems of a already famous song, and you get to remix
exactly.
You gotta pitch this to DJ Khaled. He'd be all over it.
Dude, exactly, bro.
He would host the fuck out that show.
I've been thinking about that for months. I'm like, bro, Jermaine Dupri or somebody, you need to come out with something like this. Like, Ali, engineers.
A lot of people shit on Khaled, but I have a lot of respect for him as like, this is how I envision DJ Khaled. Is like, imagine like just being like, yo, I wish I could hear this person on a song with this person on this beat.
Call him.
Like, and that's what DJ Khaled did. Like, I've done it because like I'll think of like I'll have a beat playing and I'll be like, yo, it'd be dope if I got so and so for a feature on this.
But this
you know what I'm saying?
goes.
But Khaled's like, what if I got these 2 people to feature on it, and that's the song?
And then he
I'm
goes
like,
like
damn,
this.
dude, you fucking.
And then his ass goes like this. Hey, I need you. Hey, I need you. Come over to my house right now. And they're over there. Like,
and there's nobody on the game who won it, especially like, and he's like so tapped in that he could fucking get anybody who's on the up and coming that has an eye on them.
bro,
Because Khaled calls you, he's gonna put you on a song with Bieber. You're gonna fucking do it.
But
You
here's
know
the
what I'm
funny
saying?
part. People don't realize how long Khaled has
He's been in
doing
the
this.
game.
If you guys go back to Lean Back, all right, and it's funny because people don't realize how long Kevin Hart's been in the game either. Because if you go back to the song Lean Back and you watch that video and you see where they're in the house and you see DJ Khaled is DJing. He's skinny. He's got the Terror Squad chain on. And then they stop the party and you got fucking Kevin Hart at the door not letting people in. And Lil Jon is like yelling at him and shit, and then they push through him and they get in the party. And that was like one of the first times people seen Kevin Hart in a music video. He was actually talking in it and everything. And he didn't have any comedy specials out at the time.
Same thing with Dang, dude. A lot of people think Johnny Dang's like new. Dang's been in the game, dude.
That man has made so many changes for rappers
and so
from
many
the 90s
cameos.
to now. Like, it's crazy.
Kevin Hart was on Tough Crowd. It was like 2002. He's been around for so
Right.
long.
I feel like Lean Back's even a little older than that.
Yeah, Lean Back.
probably.
Lean Back was like 2001 or 2000. But
Not
so,
that's a rough
But still,
difference.
yeah, it's like that was like one of his first actual debuts on like I watched a little video about it, but it was crazy. But that when you watch it back, you're like, oh shit, that's Kevin Hart, and then you see DJ Khaled, like, oh shit, that's DJ Khaled. You can even watch a bunch of videos from like, I mean, think about it. He had We Taking Over. He had Welcome to Dade County. He had all these different songs that were like anthems back then. And now he's still even the anthem king now. That man has been on a reign for years. Him and Drake, I believe, are like, they're the radio wonders. Like they can just make a song and it's on the radio.
Yeah.
If you get a song
Definitely
with DJ
Drake.
Khaled, you're on the
Definitely
radio.
Drake.
You're going platinum.
And it's funny because when you're talking about artists that insert a lot of noises that seem unnecessary, I mean, DJ Khaled is obviously, forefront of the mind, the We the Best and all that. But yeah, I immediately think like early 2000s, like every song seemed to have the, air horns, the,
Exactly.
some producer credit on top
DJ
of that.
Khaled has the one thing I don't have.
Desert storm, bro.
So I can do verses. I don't have a tag, dude, and I'm fucking pissed. Khaled's got me beat there, dude.
Bro,
Like,
I have people that make me tags all the time, and I don't keep them on accident because, like, I had like my boy. I actually have this one, but my boy,
Dynasty.
my
beats.
boy, all in one. He's like, "Damn, Dynasty, you did that!" Like before I actually started a track, and I was like, "Do that again, bro," because I didn't record it. And I was like, "Fuck, do that again." So I recorded that as a tag, and now it's on their song. But I do it sometimes where like I'll keep that artist if they're on my beat. I'll just keep their vocal tag on that track instead of putting my actual vocal tag. So like if you did a track and you're like, Dynasty, you killed this, bro. Instead of me putting my vocal, I'm gonna keep that as the vocal tag for that song. And maybe every song that I do with you. You feel me? Like I just feel like it's more customizable. And
I got
fun.
a verse to one of the Cage beat I have from Cage Green.
Yeah?
And
He's been killing it.
Yeah, and fucking, I have a line in where I'm like, I feel like I'm locked in a cage, and I'm like, you need a fucking, and I'm butthurt because he doesn't have the tag. I'm like, I need like a caged beats to go right where I say like, I feel like I'm in a caged beats.
Oh, that's
and
fire.
I want to like just kind of be like layered under like the when I say it. And we got to get that made, I guess, or something.
We got to get you a tag, bro.
Well, he has other tags. He just doesn't have, I guess, the tag I'm envisioning.
Oh, well, we got to get you that tag.
Or I got to just have a fucking chick do it.
That
Either
too.
or. I've been lacking. Well, I haven't been lacking. I've just been working on like the booking side of everything and figuring out how to properly manage and do my shows right to where people want to keep coming
Yeah.
and don't feel like they're just getting the same thing over and over again.
Right.
Too. So that's why I took it back, stopped booking for the rest of the year. Working on writing. I got 2 or 3 songs in the mix that I'm going to go start recording, and then working on the podcast thing. Just dumping these out weekly while it gets cold, and then in 2024 start booking again.
Hell yeah, man. I love the plan. That's one
Get
thing.
one of these torches.
Artists, if you are not planning, you are not going to succeed, to be honest with you. If you do everything on a whim, it's just going to keep running you in circles.
Don't oversaturate yourself either. I've learned that.
Exactly. And I've always told artists this. There's a difference. And there's a video out now. I kind of wish I would have made this video before this video came out. But I always tell artists this. There's a difference between having motion and just,
Running in place.
yeah, running in place. Because if you're running in place, like you can use up energy running in place and you can use up energy running a mile. You're still going to use up the same energy. But when you run a mile, you gain distance. You gain something, right? But if you're just running in place, you're gaining nothing. You're going nowhere. So you're still using the same energy that you'd be using to run that mile for the same time. It's the same thing that you do if you're just out there, I guess I'll drop this song. I guess I'll drop this song. Let me see. Sometimes that works for people. Don't get me wrong. There are people that are like, I just dropped this song and it worked. If you want to win the lottery, you can also go play scratch-offs every day and see if you're going to win the lottery. That's the same thing you're doing with your music career. But when it comes down to being a professional musician, you got to treat this like a product. This is a product that I just bought. This had a release date. This had a production date. This had a whole idea date. I don't even know what to call it, but brainstorming date. They had everything planned out from the day they were going to plan this phone's creation to the day they're going to make this phone's creation to the day they're going to sell this phone.
I think a lot of people don't realize, like, because they've listened to their song 100 times, the people haven't. And
Right.
it's not going to be stuck in their head, and they're not going to think about it as a real song until they hear it 100 fucking times.
Right.
And the only way they're going to do that is if you make them hear it 100 fucking times. Dude.
Fuck 100, a million.
A million, yeah. But I'm just saying, even at like a low scale level, like,
Yes.
like I'm a little oversaturated with some of my music, but I'm still doing songs off Fuck Vinny. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Smart.
most people don't know the song. Just because I know the song as the artist, just because you guys know the song as the artist, doesn't mean the fans know them as well as you want them to.
Exactly. And there's also I love these stories, and I'll use a few quick examples, but Lizzo, even though she's canceled right now, Lizzo's first song, Truth Hurts, White Men Great, that song got picked because got blown up because it was in a Hulu show or movie or something, and it got placed in that. That song was 4 years old. She had it out for 4 years before that song got placed, and then it blew up in 2020. It was out in 2016. You can look it up. There's also people like back in the day, Hey There Delilah. Hey There Delilah, that band was broken up before they even got that song blown up.
That's
when it
hilarious.
blew up, they had to get back together just to be able to do that song. So you never know.
I'm about to start pitching fucking Big Sexy and the Scrambled Eggs.
You never know. You never know. And here's the
album's so
thing.
good.
I watch on TikTok all the time. Like one of my favorite people to watch is Connor Price and Nick D. They're amazing on TikTok. They're super good with their content. They're entertaining. They're fun. And their music is fire as shit.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Their music is fucking
Price
fire.
and
Right
Nick
up
D.
your alley.
Bro, Connor Price and Nick D, they're super fire. They're not even just like a duo. They do their own solo music, but they work together a lot. But Nick D I came across first, and he had this one song.
He's a better musician, I think.
Yeah, he's super fire.
Yeah.
But
Ben knows fucking-
Nick
he's
D
plugged
came
in.
out with this song called Lemon and Lime. And or lemon, I think it's called lemon. I like my waters with lemon and lime. Auto-tune that later, but whatever. But you can actually place the song over that later. But that song right there, he had like, bro, I can show you the content. He had probably fucking 25 videos in a row. Maybe there's like one video sprinkled in that didn't have the song, but you scroll on his TikTok, that song, oh, another song, that song, another song, that song. It's like over and over. But the thing is, every piece of content was different, right?
Okay.
And here's
You
the thing.
taught me that, though.
Here's the thing too, though. It was sometimes he was doing something funny. Sometimes he was doing just a regular performance in front of the microphone. One time he said, "All right, I'm gonna try and throw this apple or this tennis ball into this thing in the basketball behind me." Made it, right? It was like, oh, you could tell he's actually performing too because you can hear him actually freaking out. And he was like, oh, like he didn't expect to do it. So next time he takes his shoe off, throws his shoe in, hits somebody, and now he's getting people coming. Try to throw this in, try to make 3, try to do this. So he has to do it over and over now. Now he's getting interactions. Now he's getting people coming back to his page. All that content built into now they have over 2 million monthly listeners off of Independency. They are all independent, both of them. They make over $250,000 a month off their streams alone.
That's the goal, baby. That's the goal.
From 2020 to now, though, I just found them in 2020. When I found him in 2020, he had less than like, I think 10,000 monthly listeners. Don't quote me on that. It might be a little bit more, but
That's wild.
insane, bro. Like, that's where the content can bring you. But if people, that's why I say to artists, you can't be stubborn with it. I understand artists want to be like, yeah, but I'm not a video guy. I'm not a person who wants to be out there doing dances and stuff. You don't have to do dances. You don't have to do all the funny stuff that people are doing. Find your lane, what you like, and people, if they like you, they will follow to the music. But don't forget to guide them to the
If
music.
you go on like Snoop Dogg's Facebook or Instagram, dude, it ain't fucking Snoop posting. 90% of the times it's reposted memes. You know
Well,
what I'm
here's the
saying?
thing too about Snoop though. He does go on. I've seen him say it himself. He does go on his Instagram. He also has a team posting for him.
Yeah.
But when you look at like, let's look at downsized less celebrities, like people like.
Snoop's so big, he's an icon. It's kind of
Right. It's kind of hard. It's unfair to compare unsigned artists to that level. If you're like, if we want to say unsigned artists, look at like Tory Lanez. Like before he was locked up, that man was live all the time when he was in the
Do
studio.
you think it's based off of the conspiracy? Do you think this is the Jay-Z conspiracy? Have you heard that behind it? How he wouldn't sign to Jay, and that's why Megan's claiming he shot her and blah, blah, blah.
Bro, I don't know about
That's the real reason he's going to jail right now?
The only thing I really know is the sentence they gave him is crazy, but the whole reason why he got the sentence he got is because he tried to beat it with a trial, and then they're gonna throw the book at you. If you lose trial, they're gonna throw the book at you. I didn't really follow too deep into it, bro, because to me, I don't follow into hip hop drama. I don't follow into like the politics of a lot of stuff because I'm in the studio too much working to the point where like I don't have time to pay attention to that shit. I listen to new releases when they come out.
I respect that.
And check it out. And I pay attention to the artists.
I'm a big Tory fan. He makes great music.
Yeah, and I pay attention to like also the business behind things too, because to me, I want to be able to help the artists that I'm working with, and a lot of them don't know what to do after they make a song. That's their biggest like struggle.
Remember
is
that was fucking old Johnny Bang's pitch.
What?
That's what Johnny Bangs would say to people. He's like, all these artists, they don't know what to do after they have a song.
See, but he didn't.
In their defense, in his defense, we don't.
No, and that's he didn't. He was
I
lying.
still don't, and I thought I fucking because I listen.
He didn't tell a lie right there. It's the truth.
Then-
People don't know what to do because a lot of times people will skip out on one. They skip out on the song that will actually work. Okay. I work with an artist in Florida right now. His name's Famous Kid Brick. All right. When I first moved down there, he was pushing this song "Mood." Okay. You guys can look it up right now. It's got tons of views. he went viral on quite a few platforms. He did like Off the Porch. He did all these different interviews, and like he went to South by Southwest and did this performance. It's like Famous Animal or something like that. He did it in front of, but like he did this performance with this mask on, and it wasn't even Halloween time, and he was just like bugging out in the street. He's a turn up artist, so like he was bugging out in the middle of the street, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" He had mad people. He got over 100K views on that page, and then it started blowing up his other stuff. We did a song together called Racks. That song right now, he's been pushing for the past 6 months. Before that was Mood for almost a year and a half. And his whole thing is he's gonna push the song until it's hitting certain numbers and getting certain thresholds through certain thresholds before he drops a note. And that's a great strategy because a lot of artists will just drop and see what's gonna work. And often they're missing the opportunity to really push one of their greatest songs. And he has a ton of songs recorded. He usually records 3-4 songs in a session easily. But the song Racks right now, it's been on DJ Clue's radio. It's been on Hot 97 in New York City. It's been on Atlanta radio. It's been in North Carolina radio. It's been in Tampa radio plenty of times. It plays almost every day in Tampa all the time. Clearwater. It plays in Miami. It plays in LA. It plays all over the place. And it's because he's actually campaigning that the proper way. And yes, it takes a budget, it takes a team, but it also takes you having patience as an artist, because if you don't have patience for this shit, like you're always gonna be in a rush, you're gonna be desperate. And then when deals come to you, you're gonna take any deal that comes to you and you're gonna get fucked. You're gonna be screwed over and be like, damn, I shouldn't have taken that deal because it's not what I wanted, it's not the money I wanted, it's not the right, like I don't own my music. That's how all those artists get into those bad deals, because they're rushing into things and being desperate. Desperateness gets you nowhere in this music industry. If you have your business in order, you get things like Nipsey did, or you get things like Mac Miller. Like, I know I'm naming a bunch of passed away people, but these guys had it in order. They had it in order. And then you get like, okay,
Tory Lanez fucking just fuck.
Meek Mill, he had it right, because when he said, I don't want to be signed as an artist, this man over here.
Like, okay, come on,
Wiz Khalifa. Prince, Michael Jackson. But Wiz Khalifa, he did it right too. Like, he said, no, don't sign me as an artist, sign my label, Taylor Gang. You know, I'm not trying to just be signed as an artist. I want to have a whole label that I can sign my own artists. Meek Mill, Dream Chasers, he signed by another label through his label. And that's just, you get your business right, they can't turn down an offer. And the reason why I was using Mac Miller,
have you ever heard about fucking, like, I just saw a post the other day about you remember Bird Gang?
Yeah.
Jim Jones thing. Everybody's like,
Bird Gang.
Like, what the fuck happened to Bird Gang, dude?
It died. They got bird flu. But nah, it's weird because with a lot of people, I've listened to so many fire songs by artists. I'm like, yeah, I dropped that like 6 months ago, but I got this other song. I'm like, bro, this song is crazy. What are you doing? Do you have a video? Nah. Do you have this to it? Nah. What are you doing? Like, get some stuff out with it, because if not, people are not gonna notice it. You can't just put a song on platforms anymore and expect people to notice it. That's like a person having a product and just putting it on a shelf randomly in a store and expecting you to just walk by and buy it.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Even if you made it to Walmart.
Yeah, you can't.
Good luck.
You can't even be put on a random shelf. You have to be put on the new or like the front shelves that are on the side when people walking down the regular aisles. Like, you have to be on that when you're a new product, because if not, you're not gonna get sold.
Oh, dude, that's why I do my gorilla fucking, like, I've eaten it so many times buying flyers for fucking shows, but it's also, people know who the fuck I am.
It's investment, though. That's marketing. I tell everybody, do you know how much money McDonald's spends in marketing every year? Even though they're a $1 billion company right now, back when they first started, do you know how much money they spent in marketing alone, outside of word of mouth? Companies blow so much money on marketing. That's why they say average business, and if you look at yourself as an artist, as a business, average business does not make profit for the first 3 years. That's because you're spending so much money on overhead, marketing, and other needs such as employment and everything like that. So if you have, and for you, that's outsourcing, right? You have employment. You're employing people by giving somebody audio work to do.
Well, there's that, and then there's also, like I just said, all the flyers.
Right, but that's marketing, because here's the thing that comes in that's overhead and marketing, because as your business, the marketing side comes down to, if you pay for flyers that have your name on it that are promoting a event that you're having, that's marketing.
Oh, you don't think I put a fucking clock on everything?
Exactly, that's marketing. Oh, yeah. That's everything that you're doing, merch, that's marketing. Everything that you're doing with posting content, that's marketing. So it falls under this big umbrella, but the whole word is marketing. Now, promoting is you handing out the flyers. A lot of people don't understand that. They post something on Facebook, I've been marketing. No, you've been promoting. Marketing is what you do. Every time somebody sees It's Always Now, if they see a clock that looks like that, they're going to think of you. They're going to go, I think of, boom,
Believe me, I
Vinny,
get sent fucking clock every fucking goddamn day. If there's something at a store with a clock on it, and my friends see it, I get sent it. It's also because I'm going to fucking rip it off and probably put my clock on it.
See? But the thing is, marketing is the biggest thing, and that people don't understand. You got to spend a lot of money into it. But once you do, and you do it the proper way, and people start paying attention, that money comes back from everything else. You get streams, you get people buying your merch. And honestly, with merch, there's so many things out right now, like Printful. You don't even need to buy merch that's already printed and everything.
Printful is where I get my flyers done.
Yeah,
Printful. They do my tickets too for my shows.
Really? Damn, they do a lot of stuff because they do merch like on print on demand merch. Yeah. So like if somebody needs like
drop shipping basically.
Yeah, like if I have like for instance, I can design everything I need to have, right? And so like if I had another shirt like that said, whatever your name on it, but it has the Reese's whatever, I could design that, make it a shirt, do whatever colors I want to do, order a sample for me or whoever, and then I can go ahead and put it on my website and show people.
So it's basically drop shipping.
In a way, but it's not really because drop shipping is like other people's products in a way. But this is like print out. So if somebody wants it, they click it.
I've always pictured drop shipping as you could still just do your product.
Yeah, but if you own the product, you're gonna have it in inventory. You know what I mean? But if like this is all because you don't have to put that initial investment up front. So like with drop shipping, you still kind of do got to put that initial investment up front, and you got to pay for a lot of bulk products. But you're not gonna hold it at your place. You're gonna have it in their storage. And
I was under the impression they print by demand too in drop shipping when it comes down to
sometimes some if they have enough products and like that's where like you're thinking of affiliate marketing though. Like affiliate marketing is different because if I were to be an affiliate marketer for like Amazon or something, then I put their link of a product in something, I make a profit off of that.
I always took it as the individual, like you could get your shirts made that way too.
In a way, but either way, it's so helpful because I've seen so many people spend $4,000 on shirts and then they don't sell $4,000 worth of shirts and they have to hand them out, which is not bad. You should definitely have a box of shirts you hand out. It's a simple shirt that doesn't cost you a lot.
I'm sitting on I'm sitting on my fucking spring run.
Exactly, bro. But see, you're behind.
Well, it's because I did such a good first spring run that I redid a spring run.
Right.
So, in my defense, I'm sitting on my second spring run.
But you've been smart with your merch for the past, I would say, 6 years. Because I remember even when you did the Chris Webby show, you had a table. You feel me? A lot of people don't understand.
When I did the tour, I was one of the only people who demanded a table in their contract.
See, people don't understand how smart that is.
It gave me $2 extra grand.
Exactly.
Out of the fucking 15 it cost to go on tour.
Exactly.
And people don't realize that is promoting.
Boom.
That's why I fucking did it. And I was talking to, because I went and saw Riff last Wednesday in Rochester. He invited us out and shit. Me and John went and kicked it with him.
That's dope.
And there was another artist who was opening up for him. He's like, yeah, we haven't done the tour game yet. And I'm like, the one thing I'd recommend is get your LLC or business before doing it because I did the tour shit after it. So it was just like, I just spent my money doing it instead of it being a business fucking thing because I could have been an extra 15 grand right off my first year, which would have been cool. But anyways.
But no, honestly, bro, I think in general, having merch as an artist is a
I don't think people realize
staple.
You're a walking build. Like if somebody wears your shit, they're walking. Like this isn't Reese's. This is Ryan Reese comedy.
Right.
I was gonna shout out the Ryan Reese.
Dude, it was great. Exactly. We went and saw him and David Tell
a
couple weeks ago at Funny Bone.
That's fire.
And you become or say somebody like me. Look at old boy just got a free commercial technically.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yo, you saw he retweeted you by the way, right?
I did saw that. That's why one of the reasons I'm rocking this shit.
Hey. Fire.
He reposted the post I did where I was
maybe he'll repost this now.
Possibly. Maybe we can get him.
Posted my guy.
I was having like a shower dream. Like, what if I could get Ryan on the fucking podcast, dude? That'd be sweet. He was funny. Anyways,
he'd be a great guest.
Yeah, your friends who wear the shirt are now like, especially if you have like a unique design. Like I have the rabbit. People see that. Exactly. Like, oh, that's cool. It gets on a thing. The clock always fucking gets people going.
But that's where it goes back into branding too, because a lot of people just want to stamp their name on something like Supreme. This is like a once in a lifetime thing for people to be able to like put Nike and Supreme, like be able to just put their name on something, and Supreme just has a box or Nike just has a check. Like that's so hard to do. But when it comes down to like an artist, if you have a cool looking logo, like your rabbit shit, everybody was asking me like, yo, that shit's fire. Is that because I have it on one of my hats on the
Well, I think you need both as a brand. Like, right, Nike doesn't just put out swooshes.
Exactly. They have
the swooshes.
Sayings.
Or look at OVO
their
for
stamp.
a
You need
right, that's a stamp.
Brand.
Exactly. But then a lot of
I have
people
this in a
think that's
stamp.
all they need, though. They think, oh, I just need to make a shirt, right? And they just put their name on it. You can't just put your name on something and expect people to pay $50 for it or $60.
Even this, like, look at this. He at least took the time, made it a fucking joke.
Exactly.
Did what we love, the parody thing, like the spin-off thing, where like this is just the Staples logo.
Exactly. You know, but the thing with that is like it draws my eye because when I looked at it, I seen there are Reese's, right? But now I look at it and I say Ryan Reese. I might not know who he is. That's gonna make me ask you if we're having a conversation. Hey, who's Ryan Reese? Right? Yeah. Now, if that was a Vinnie Freeman shirt and I didn't know who Vinnie Freeman was, then I would ask you, oh, who's Vinnie Freeman? Now it gives you an opportunity to show me.
I hated wearing shirts with my own name on it, but I wanted to wear my product. So that's another reason.
It's like a name tag. It's like a constant
like it just
name
felt
tag.
like a fucking idiot, dude. Like, oh, dude, in case I got lost, like I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, dude, I was talking with another.
Shirts would be even funnier.
Well, the fuck Vinny shirts were kind of decent. Like I didn't mind that 100%, but
fuck me, bro. Just.
But that's one of the real a strong reasons I led towards the It's Always Now. Plus, I realized people support a brand way more than they'll support Jeff's music. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, Jeff's no, who's Jeff's music? Like that's not even a good shirt. You know what I'm saying? Not to shit on if anybody out there is going off of Jeff's music.
Right, but think about it. Taylor Gang was Khalifa. Dream Chasers, Meek Mill. Yeah. Maybach Music. And these are not labels. They didn't start as labels.
They're just the fucking
that's their brand. It's their brand.
Yeah.
That they turn into a label. It's Always Now could turn into a music label or into a music label, an entertainment company that has everything from podcasts to TV shows.
I envision it to either one day being a bar stool.
See?
It's like a Chinese conglomerate.
You know, like that's super dope, bro. And that's where artists aren't really thinking with a lot of people just be like, I want to make a song, hit platinum and go and get money.
Have you seen the second show I'm working on that comes out Christmas?
Nah.
Last Two Brain Cells.
Oh shit! Is it a comedy?
Yeah. It's
oh
me,
my
it's
god!
It's me and AJ. All right.
Oh boy.
And I hope I can find it fast. I'm praying that my thing's cool and it lets me just scroll and find it quick. So what I do is we have these backdrops that make the set look like we're in a brain.
What?
And then me and AJ are the last two brain cells of the brain.
That is fire. Oh my god, dude. You guys are hilarious.
Looks so fucking good too. It came out so perfect. I had my boy Corey who paints make the backdrop and shit.
You guys are hilarious.
Forgive me not having it up queued.
You're good. We can speed this up post.
Yeah, people definitely don't understand how expensive advertising is, though. Like,
no,
if you make a movie, 50% of the budget for the movie is towards advertising.
Right, and then also paying for people to do their jobs.
Yeah,
like
so that means you spend $10 million on making a movie.
If you're
to make the whole movie itself, and then you're going to spend another $10 million just to promote the movie. You know, that's insane.
Pitch it. You still don't even get to promote it until you pitch it to somebody that will buy it. Because a lot of people make movies and they have. I was talking to my boy. It's so crazy you brought that up because I literally right before I left from Florida. That is fire.
So that's what the set looks like?
That is super fire.
So it's just me and AJ. What this is going to be.
Yo, that's funny.
We shoot.
You guys should wear like little pink hats with brains
I want to eventually get everything brained out almost.
That'd be funny as hell. Or just look like cells. You feel me? Like,
oh, yeah.
The little bubbles.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
So those are 10-minute clips. I wanted, when we sit down, we record it all at once. We do 5 episodes at once, but we keep them in like 10, 15 minutes. And those I want to do Monday through Friday.
That's so cool.
Then It's Always Now. So it'll be my Saturday and Sunday release. And then
that's
my goal is 5. Was 5 by the end of last year. Ended up making the 2. I'm hoping to get a female-based one.
At least you got started.
Yeah, and I have the vision. And
yeah, exactly.
Vision's fucking half the fucking battle.
That's hilarious, though. I'm gonna love to watch that because I know you guys are probably hilarious together on that. But going back to that film thing, it's honestly a crazy thing. I was just talking to my boy about this like not even 2 weeks ago, or right before. It was about a week before I left, so 3 weeks ago. We were talking about like him putting money into marketing, and I said, bro, you gotta look at this way. Like if you were to be making a movie right now, you'd be a filmmaker. You'd have had to pay for your gear. You'd have to pay for your employees. You'd have to pay for the actors. You'd have to pay for the script unless you wrote it. And then also, you'd have to go and pitch it to somebody to hopefully take it and publish it and put it out into the theaters. If not, then you have to pitch it to somebody to put it on Netflix and Hulu or whoever. And if it gets picked, then you might make some money back if it does well. And it's like, there's so many people that put 3, 4, 5 million into an independent movie or even an independent like pilot of something, they put $100,000 into it, right? Just for the pilot. I've read stories about it, and like, it's like they go and pitch it to so many different people, and it takes 3-4 years for it to finally catch on.
I've been trying somebody to fucking pick up my pilot, dude. It's called Scare B&B.
Have you gone to the what is it?
I've pitched to a few people there. They've given me more ideas on how to do it myself.
Yeah.
And that was basically how they ran with it. But it's called Scare B&B. It's a prank TV show. One person sets up 5 of their friends, all right? They're like, yo, look, I just won this contest. We're going to see this concert. Comes with a free Airbnb, the whole nines. The radio station's hooking us up with these body cams so we can film our whole experience, blah, blah, blah. When they get there, the person setting them up is the first to go up missing. The house is rigged to seem as it's haunted.
That's hilarious.
Scare B&B.
All right, do not anybody take that because
that's why we keep saying it on record.
Yeah.
So fucking it comes up. But my only fear is somebody who steals the idea is going to patent it and be like they're just going to write the script and then date it like 6 months before I said it. That's my fear of my
head. It is handwritten, so you can't find it.
They handwrite it and date it. Just fuck it.
Yeah, you guys don't understand. You young kids don't understand how fucked you'd be if everybody had to go back to handwriting. Because you can't figure out any digital fingerprints of when it was written unless you're a real detective with that shit.
And they're like, dude, this ink wasn't made before too.
Right, or this was, you can tell by the pressure, this was written 3 months ago instead of like, bro, no, nobody's going to do that.
I shoot my ideas in the universe that I can't personally create in hopes that they even happen. You know,
manifest it, bro.
Yeah. Like if somebody takes Scare B&B,
no hopes.
Honestly, I'm just gonna be pissed if they just take it and don't use the name. Because Scare B&B is such a good fucking
it really is
name.
It is such a good name. Yo, MTV. You guys need a new show. You guys need a new show.
MTV5. Fucking take
ridiculousness is just way too much. Like that plays back to back to back to back to back, and then you got like one other.
Give me all the cameras from. Give me all the cameras from MTV Cribs, dude, and I'll make it happen, dude.
Bro, exactly.
They're gonna call it something terrible like Haunted Hotel.
And we got some really fucked up looking houses up here in New York. So trust me, we could find one and just kind of. Barely rig it. It'll be fucking haunted naturally.
Yeah, it's one of the most like haunted places in the entire United States, actually. There's if you like look at the map of like haunted houses,
it was
dense here, man. It's dense.
The idea was originally thought of as just I set up an Airbnb, I fucking make that shit seem haunted, and I put in hidden cameras everywhere. And then I was like, my fear of that was my first like guess to some old person who just has a fucking heart attack. So I'm like, all right. A better way to pitch this would be somebody rattles up some of their younger friends and pulling a prank on them, so I don't have to worry about somebody fucking dying. It's like, dude, and now I can't even Airbnb anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like literally, it goes from a fucking prank show to oh shit, somebody really died on this show. Damn, shut down first episode, pilot shut down. Oh man, could you imagine like? That would be so fucked up. Because people, honestly, heart attacks have been happening so much earlier nowadays. So could you imagine, like, somebody in their 30s, you like, they sign a waiver and everything, of course. But, oh, yeah, to go on this trip, you got to sign this waiver just in case you die. Like, okay. Yeah.
That kind of makes sense, though, if you want a radio competition, though.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing how me and my friends
I feel like that contract's not legal, though.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, they're signing it for their friends. Like, they're signing it for their friends. Think about it. Their friends can't know about it, so they're signing it for their friends.
Is that why prank TV shows don't exist anymore?
You're going to make Airbnb change their policy. It's going to say no Scare B&B.
No spooky stuff. No spooky stuff.
I think it'd be a great setup, though, because honestly, think about how Punk'd worked, bro. Like, Punk'd when we were kids... That was one of the best shows
Dude,
ever.
You know I forgot? Well, because that was the thing that kind of also inspired us. I was watching Punk not too long ago, and I forgot that they also prank normal people.
Yeah.
Like, they fucked around with normal people every like 3 or 4 bits. There was like just a fucking, they're like...
Random-ass person.
We're here just goofing around today. And I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah, like, honestly, I miss shows like that. Like, I like Impractical Jokers.
I'm a huge Dax Shepard fan. That's actually what dominoed me back to it.
Dax Shepard.
You don't know who Dax Shepard is? So Dax Shepard, phenomenal director, married to Kristen Bell.
Oh, okay.
He's directed a few great movies. He started off as one of the actors.
Really?
From Punk. He was one of like the dudes.
Oh, really? That's dope as shit.
Do the fucking pranks.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And he became a fucking producer.
He's in Idiocracy. He's the
You ever see
Dude who
Idiocracy?
I believe so.
Walks the main guy
I think me and my girl watched it. I'm trying to think. I don't watch a lot of movies, but like I watch so many TV series because like it's so easy to like just sit there and binge out late at night and watch those TV series.
He directed.
I know exactly who he is.
He directed Chips, which is a remake from the TV show, and then he also directed a movie called Hit and Run, which I cannot stress is probably one of my favorite movies.
I think I've seen Hit and Run.
It's an A movie.
It was on
might
Netflix,
might even be A+. It was on there at one point.
Yeah, I believe I've seen it.
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't go to the movies
Him,
often, but
Tom Arnold,
Another podcast as well, Armchair Expert. Give us a
Armchair
shout-
Expert. Yeah,
give us a shout out, Dax. Come on.
Yeah, my apologies. That's another his. So you know what pisses me off, dude? Come on, give me a video. I don't fucking. I can only listen to so much. I need to, dude. I want to see when I'm listening to his.
Some of them,
his is most of all, dude. He talks about having like threesomes with Ashton Kutcher and shit.
what?
He's with an episode with Mila Kunis. He's like talking about it with Mila Kunis,
Oh my
Ashton Kutcher's
God.
wife. And I'm like, dude, I need to see into this room. I need to fucking
Right, like those.
dude.
You
Give
know,
me.
you know, it's
There's
stank
certain
in there.
podcasts where you definitely need to see
They're
and
just
watch.
naked in my mind. dude. I can't have that. I need
The
to know that.
imagination is better, I guess.
I guess maybe. No, I need to see.
But like, we need to leave this up to their imaginations how they're gonna think this is right now. When you get it, they're all sitting on a towel in a room, just what the fuck?
What's your favorite podcast? Do you got any favorite podcasts?
So I like a lot of business podcasts. To be honest with you, like I'm more of like I'll sit there first thing in like the morning for like the first hour after I wake up, and I'll listen to like this one called Six Figure Creative. It used to be called the Six Figure Home Studio, but they changed it recently. That's what I was trying to think of. It's Six Figure Creative, and it's basically about every creative lane that how to become a entrepreneur and how to become a freelancer that can make six figures or more. And it's really cool because listening to other people's stories and like ideas from other fields in the creative world kind of helps you expand your ideas of how you're going to do business, because you can still switch it to your field, but it's still creative, so it still has the objections and all the problems that you kind of would run into still. As for instance, a photographer and an audio engineer, like we still run into the same issues with bookings and stuff like that. So like hearing their stories and everything, it was like, oh wow, this is dope. Like really learning from other people's perspective of every creative field.
I fear this field itself is getting a little oversaturated, unfortunately.
It is.
And now it's like people are just like, I have my podcast and I can barely keep up with that. So it's like, why take on a new one?
Right. And honestly, here's the thing.
I know
though.
that's my feeling on
How
podcasts.
cool is it when you find a new podcast though that you're like, wow, this is actually really good.
Yeah, whatever. I've been fucking going pretty hard on Matt and Shane, which I do enjoy.
Honestly, I think podcasts are kind of like any other media type thing. Like there's always a lot of people that do something, but the fact that everybody is easily putting something on mass, like advertised or mass accessed websites and platforms like Spotify or YouTube, or before when you made a podcast, like podcasts have been out for fucking over 20 years now. Like when I was younger, my church had a podcast and it was our church recordings after the service was done, and they would post it on their website, and if you click on podcast, it would come up as that. And there's other people back in the days when iPods came out. That's when podcasts first happened, was when the iPod came out, and people wanted to listen to like information and just different people, like technology stuff and everything like that. Like people would have podcasts about that. Some people would even do it as like day-to-day podcasts about gardening and stuff. So it's always been a weird thing, but it was always like this kind of just this one person talking and kind of doing like a diary or just kind of like giving people information. Then it became conversational a couple of years, like I would say about 6-7 years ago, maybe even 8 years ago. It became more conversational, and it became more of like let's do a video with it too, because it was only audio at first. And so now it's like everybody wants to do it because they think that that's how they're going to get rich, which people don't understand. You don't get paid to do podcasts. The platforms don't even pay you. If you get put on Spotify, if you put your shit on Spotify, you're paying me to put it on Spotify, and you don't get paid off of Spotify from it. You have to get sponsors. You have to get endorsements. You have to get people that are going to, and you have to pay some people, honestly. I know some
for
people,
the love of the game.
yeah, you have to pay some people to even get them on your podcast because you have to pay for their time because they're so damn busy. Like, I know engineers, if I want to get them on my podcast that I'm going to be doing, I know damn well I'm going to have to fork up $200, $300 to get an hour out of their time.
That's exactly it. It doesn't really matter how many like listeners you necessarily have. What they really want are engaged listeners, people who are really going to Go and use your promo code. You know,
exactly.
Manscaped is giving you a spot.
Exactly.
You're not getting really much for that payment, but you're going to get a lot off of every person that uses your promo code.
Mm-hmm. And that's the business behind this is like podcasts are just like radio stations. Radios don't get paid because the people are sitting on air. They get paid because they're a big advertisement. That's why when you listen to the goddamn radio, you hear freaking left and right, ad, one song, two song maybe, and then ad, another song, ad, and then you hear, oh, ad free for an hour. Okay, well then the next hour is going to be, guess what? Double the ads because they need to make their money. That's how they make their money, just like the TV people and anything like that. So I think podcast people, the reason why people get into it is because, and anybody gets into media and art nowadays because they think, I can make money off of it. I can sell this. I can do this. And that's the same thing with audio engineering and beat making and rapping. I've had people literally walk up to me into the studio and be like, bro, I'm about to start rapping. That's where you make the money. I'm going to look at them like, okay, bro.
So from my perspective in the entertainment, I think, where I look where I've spent the most money. Videographers make a lot of money. DJs make a lot. Dude, I think DJs make the most money.
I think so too. And here's the thing.
I've paid, and I love my DJ, but he's made a lot of money.
And here's the thing I want to say too.
And just from from perspective of like what I pay him and how I have to pay my drummer, and I feel like I pay them pretty evenly, and I feel like my drummer deserves more money.
Yeah. See, and the thing is,
that's just, I guess, physics.
I feel like
the physicality of it.
I think people's, especially in a smaller city like Syracuse, okay, when you go and you step out of Syracuse and you go to a major city of Atlanta, Los Angeles, Miami, Tampa, even Louisville, places like that where they have masses of people that are doing this, you're going to have people that are on every level doing maybe a $200 video. You're going to also have people doing a $10,000 video. You're going to have also people doing a $4,000 video. You're going to have people even costing up to $25,000 for a video. I have an artist that I work with in Florida. He did a $20,000 video last year or 2 years ago.
I'm working on a $20,000 video right now.
And honestly, those videos, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of planning. It's not just a run and gun shoot video. You have to hire actors. You have to, that's why it costs 20 grand. You have to hire the crew. You have to book the place to do the actual acting at. You have to do a lot of different processes, and a lot of people don't understand that.
$10,000 into a $20,000 video.
Seeing you're paying it off as time goes?
Kind of got shut down from COVID.
Okay.
And then I just haven't had the financial that I had prior, and now things are getting back to where I'm literally like right back to where I need to be to get it domino back in.
Fire.
Because I'm doing Vinnie Madison. I'm doing like a shot-for-shot remake of Billy Madison. I did the old man where I did old man makeup, dude, where I literally I look like Johnny Knoxville.
Did you show a picture of that?
Yeah, I've shown
I could have sworn I seen that picture.
And I'm stomping out the dog poop, but they're letting me use the actual mansion.
Oh, wow.
But that's fucking $4,000.
See? Investment.
And then it's going to take, I got to get my whole team out there. I got to rent a place to get it for a week, a few days. So I'm looking at another $5,000 of overhead to get everybody out there for comfort and shit, and then shooting the rest of it. But yeah.
People don't understand that that's where the money goes in, is your production side of everything, right? And that's why when you drop something, you have to have a release plan. You have to have a strategy. You have to have a whole written down map of how you're going to do it, or else you're just going to always be tossing it out. It's just like when you're fishing. You might just be throwing it out in the water and not knowing where anything's biting. And you're just like sitting there for hours waiting when you could be looking and trying to find the spot where you see the fish going, and boom, hit that spot. It's the same thing when people are just releasing song after song after song. But people don't understand where, if you go to like I was saying with the major cities, if you go to LA, for instance, of course, LA is super expensive, right? But if you go to LA, average video is anywhere from 500 and up, and that's starter videos.
I shot a lot of this in LA.
Starter videos.
But I took my team out there.
Right. But if you go out there and you try to hire somebody, right? If you want a great high-quality video where you get a mansion, you get some Lamborghinis, you get all the different stuff, you're going to be spending about $3,000 to $4,000.
Also, if you fucking get caught and you don't have permits, you'll get in fucking trouble. And they monitor that type of shit. I was told by it when I was shooting on there. Like, if you ask, tell them you're a student filmer.
Right. Exactly. And that's another thing you got to pay for. You got to pay the city for a permit, and you got to do it during the time that they permit you to do it. But so the thing that I was going to say, though, is for instance, I get complaints all the time. Damn, bro, I can have an engineer mix it for $50. My mixes cost $400 for a reason, and I do mixing and mastering for that price. So My mixes cost that much because if you look at the average time that I spend on a song compared to even when an artist spends on a song, I could break it down for you. Most artists, and I'm just averaging, this is not every artist because I know some artists are like, bro, I spend 6 hours writing a song. Cool, great. If you do that, I'm proud of you. Sometimes you don't need it, sometimes you do. But I know artists on average spend maybe an hour writing the song, an hour recording the song. You're done working on the song after that. After that, it's in somebody else's hands to do something.
I can't write a song in an hour.
Some people, like I said, some people. How long does it averagely take you?
I can write you a verse in an hour.
Okay. But I know you take your time with your music. But see, I work with so many artists that are punching artists, and they don't even write.
I fucking wish I could punch in.
They literally just come in and like, yo, let me hear some beats. And I pull up you.
Punching artists sound so good, though, when they can do it right.
Some, because here's the thing. I've heard artists that punch in, and their energy is fire throughout the whole thing, but when you listen back to the actual lyrics, it's like so random, and it kind of doesn't link together like a written verse would, right? But then there's other people where they can't do a written verse because they can't catch the time to like really sit down and be focused for that long, where when they're in the booth, it's forced, and they stay on topic so well, but their energy is not.
It all depends on the song, too, because...
And their performance isn't perfect. Like, they might stumble on some words, or they might... And most people, when they do that, honestly, it's so weird. They're just like, fucking keep it. I'm like, all right, cool. And I try to get the people to do it. As you know, I'm a person like, hey, no, that wasn't clear. We should... No, we're keeping that. I'm like, okay. But I think artists don't understand how much time people spend on things. Like, people look at the upfront cost of, like, a video, for instance. And I know this from experience because I have good friends who are video editors and videographers, and I'm also an engineer, and I've done videos myself just because I know the tools a little bit. But for a person that really knows the program, and this is going up to like my speed of I engineer fast. So recording you, I can record a song with you probably in 30 minutes because I'm fast at what I do.
I can record a verse in an hour.
See, record a verse?
Yeah, I can have a verse recorded with like my doubles and ad-libs in an hour.
See, but... with a great engineer, you'll have that done in 30 minutes.
How I like to do it still with like, I mean, I'm working with either Steve or Mike.
But I know Steve is more of a, he's not super slow, he's not slow or anything, but he's more of a medium-paced person where like, I've worked with so many artists that are like, everything you have to do has to be so quick that my speed is going so much faster.
How I do it is I usually do like I'll do like 1 or 2 takes where I get like a bass laid down. Mm-hmm. And then I attack over that. And then that ends up being
delete those?
Yeah, and then I usually end up getting rid of those.
Yep.
And then keep building from there until I get the delivery in.
Exactly.
But
see, you're a perfectionist too. There's a lot of people that aren't really that much of perfectionists where they're just like, I've
recorded the same song in 5 studios now.
See, guys?
and I still haven't released it.
There's artists, I swear, there's artists just like this all the time. But there's also artists that will do it one time. It can have imperfections. It can have them fucking up. It can have whatever. It can even have background noise with their friends laughing, whatever, and like keep it. But here's the thing: is like people don't realize how much time. For instance, a videographer spends the time drawing out the treatment. If you're gonna do a treatment for a video, average takes probably about 2 hours. Then you got to shoot the video, and if you're gonna do a actual planned out video, you got to plan out probably about 5 to 10 hours.
I was gonna say 10 to 20. But
10 to 20 hours, okay. So there we go. Let's say 10 to 20 then.
Are we doing a big boy video, dude?
Yeah, we're doing a big boy, okay.
Yeah, 10 to 20 hours, fucking man up.
Then you got the editing phase of editing those 10 to 20 hours, which they'll probably have maybe 10 hours of actual video footage, right? Or 15 hours of actual video footage. But that editing phase takes hours on hours alone. So you're talking over 100 hours for $200.
You pay old boy $2 an hour and expect quality product.
Exactly.
No, and I've seen it before, and I've worked a lot with this director Robert, and we get into quarrels all the time, and I try to take a step back a lot and like really understand. I'm like, yeah, how much fucking grit goes in behind it, because like I do some of it myself too, and I'm like, oh, I fucking suck at it, and half the reason I'm getting better at it is just because
repetition.
And I just have. He's a little more. He wants his worth, and I understand that. And I'm like, all right, some of this I can take a step back and do it myself too, and get the vision easier what I want across. He does execute the vision very well, my buddy Robert. I don't know if you've seen any like the videos I did for Nick Nova or anything like that, but
Yeah, I seen in one of his videos a couple of years.
and he did like the tour recaps that I've done and the show recaps I've done. He does
those look fire.
He does phenomenal work, and he's worth every penny. And he's one of the few people. It's so weird being like on the other end of like you want everything, you know what I'm saying, as somebody, as a client, but then you also got to understand, like you're saying, the actual hours put in behind it. Because I'm thinking, oh, I need you here for 5 hours, but you're also, like you said, that 5 hours, he's out there 10 hours going through it at least, all that bullshit.
Right, because people don't see the behind the scenes work. Like people think that, like for instance, when I get a mix, especially when people home record it, okay? And this is different than when I get another engineer's mix. But if I get a home recording, I have about, if I were to be slow at editing and not know my shortcuts, I would on average have about an hour worth of editing with probably 15 to more vocals, right? And that's counting chopping out empty parts, cutting out breaths, gain staging and stuff like that.
How large of a song are we talking?
You're talking a 3-minute song, 2.5-minute song with 12 vocals, 12 to 15 vocals.
Okay.
That would, with a home recording, because people don't pay attention to how they edit things, how they layer things, how to any side have to be, it's like a puzzle sometimes. You get it and one vocal's up here, one vocal's down here, and they're both lead vocals. Or you have, like, it's crazy. Like, I got a session one time where
I can only imagine.
Every single punch in.
That's why this thing's fucking tits.
Yeah.
Because what this also sends is, so one thing we were having that was an issue is the sound effects weren't working on one, but this records one main.
Yep, for everything
as well, which caught all the weird vocal effects we were doing, so we were able to pull from that to
exactly. And there is a way you can set it so that it records dry on the other ones and then wet on the mains, or you can set it to record wet on all of them, which means the effects actually get recorded. So that's probably what happened. But
I can only assume because I literally plug and play this.
Yep, it was on the.
The only thing that sucks is like these things are just like hyper, and I don't even have our headphones on, so I don't even know what trumpet.
Trombone, crickets.
Either way, they trigger for no reason, so I don't like to keep them up.
No, I understand. I mean, I've never seen it do that, but that's crazy. But yeah, man. I mean, most sessions though, people don't understand how much actual time goes in. And then plus people think it's like, oh, you're just like, oh, you hear a lead vocal, you do this, you do that, and you're done. No, like every vocal's different. Every instrument is different. Every beat is different. And every tone of a vocal or person's voice is different. So like you and me have two different vocals, even though we're both guys. And even if I were to rap, we'd still have different vocals. And because I might perform a different way, I have to mix my vocals differently than I mix yours. So I can't just take a setting from your shit that I mixed and then all of a sudden drop it down to mine. And same thing with song to song. One song you might be, and for you as like, if you were to do 3 songs with me, I can't take those settings and just drop them into my mix of the next song and expect them to instantly work. You can get sometimes you can get a good start, but it's not a guarantee. So like every time I start a mix, I'm starting from scratch. The only thing I use presets on is special effects, maybe like reverb and delay. But like special effects like phasers, flangers, anything that sounds crazy, I might go through some special effects for that. But even then, I'm experimenting.
Phasers and flangers sound made up. I'm just letting you know.
No, they definitely the words. Bro, if you guys were to hear,
he said I got Zamboogles and fucking Wombles.
It's funny you said Moogles because there's literally a plugin called Mooger Fooger, and I was like, I've seen it so many times. I'm like, what the fuck does this thing even do? But yeah, we have some weird name plugins, bro, that just like are effects and stuff, but it doesn't ever make sense. Honestly, the words that I even say sometimes to talk about engineering, people are like, what? You just talked completely different language to me. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, when it comes down to mixing and stuff, bro, you got all these different elements that you have to take care of and different levels of quality you can get to. I've mixed a song probably 4 or 5 times, like Sigroy. We have songs I could show you right
you've
now.
You've mixed a few of my joints multiple times.
Yeah, there's different versions.
Vibe got mixed quite a few times, dude. I've seen the bounce of that.
Yeah, because the thing is, and I'm the type of person where you might not even realize I'm on mix 4 or 5 because I won't send you 1, 2, 3. I'll send you when I'm happy with that bitch. Like, yeah, this is the one I want to send him. And I go and check it in a car. I go and check it in my headphones. I go and check it in a friend's car. I go and check it on a phone, like a Bluetooth speaker, a big one. I don't like doing the small ones because those always get overpowered by the bass. The small ones can never handle bass like they're really supposed to. So I just do it on the medium-sized Bluetooth speakers. But if your phone can handle the bass, I'm good. But yeah, bro, like I really like when I go and I mix something, I'm spending on an average. And my engineer friends yell at me sometimes for this, but I go in all in for almost every client of mine. On average, I spend anywhere from 3 to 5 hours on a light mix. On a real deep mix, I mean, I've spent 20 hours on Sigroy songs, like because we have the full track outs to the beat. I have to tune vocals. We're going in and doing special effects and getting creative, and we go through different versions of like, let me hear this with the harmonies more turned up. Let me hear this one with this part turned down, stuff like that. But
well, because as an artist, especially if you're working in a realm you don't even, which like I'm in, I don't even kind of know what the sound is really I'm going for.
Right. And see,
So
I gotta thank Sigroy for that because like back when we first started working, he even said to me like, I don't know what type of sound I really want, but like whatever you're doing, I like it and keep it up. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna help him find the sound, and I can say that we really developed the sound together. Like we just the song that he's dropping Friday.
It's dope y'all still work together.
Yeah, that's my bro. That's my brother right there. The song that we're dropping on Friday is super fire, and it's a whole different. It's back to the old Sigroy vibe a little bit, but it's a whole different level of him. He took a hiatus for a little bit just to get himself together creatively and just get back into his own sound. And honestly, I'm so happy to show everybody what the hell is coming out. Like, so this, I know this is probably gonna drop after it drops, so make sure you guys go check out that new Sigroy Toxic.
When's that coming out?
Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah.
Where's that coming out?
It's gonna be on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. It's gonna be crazy.
This will be out probably around the same day. This will be out next week.
That'd be perfect. So
what's today?
Yeah, so make sure you guys go check that out.
October 30th, dog?
Yeah, what day?
31st.
Tuesday, right? Wednesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it's gonna drop in 3 days. But if this video's out, make sure you guys go get that Toxic by Sigroy, engineered by me. Super fire song. I even have songs coming out now that because we started doing custom production. So we started working on, instead of him finding beats and buying the track outs, we were like, screw it. Like he knows I produced a couple songs for him already. So he was like, you know what I'll start doing is we'll find melodies, or you can create some melodies and send them to me. If I like them, I'll start writing to the melody. And then from there, I create the drums and add more melodies to that over his like kind of rough vocal. And then from there, I send it back to him. And then he records his actual vocals and he sends it back to me and I mix it.
That's an interesting collaboration.
Yeah, no, I mean, ever since I moved to Florida, I've been working with, I mean, even before I moved to Florida, I've worked with artists like that over in Cali and different stuff like that. But with him, we would always be able to get in the studio together and he would always book a 5-hour session. So now that we can't always get in the studio together, we video call all the time to be able to chat about it. I'll even like hook him up to my microphone stuff so that I can play him the audio coming out of my interface. So the way that I remember those Rode mics that I was talking about, if I plug one of those in into my output of my headphones and I send it to the receiver, it plays whatever's coming out of my headphones. So I can stream from my like headphone audio and me talking into another mic or this microphone that goes through my headphone audio. So yeah, it's really cool. But so I'll do that with him on the FaceTime so he can hear the better quality. And that way he can kind of be like, hey, I don't like so much reverb and stuff like that. But most of the time I kind of like, I know his sound and we've been working together for so long that I don't have to call him when I'm doing the song. It's more of when we're like, I send him the mix and he's like, all right, let's go about this and talk about this. But it does make it a little bit of a longer process having that distance, but we still make it work because it's either me or Steve he goes to, and it's usually me. So, and that's just because we developed this really good bond and sound together. So he's like, I don't really want to stray away from that because everybody's loving that. There's no point to go away from it. You know, when you find that one engineer artist, that's the best thing to do. Stick with that engineer.
For sure.
Because Drake and 40.
So we're going on probably an hour, a little over an hour now for show. You want anything you want to plug before we wrap this bad boy?
Yeah, I do actually. So make sure you guys, first of all, like I said, Toxic by Sigroy, go check that out. Any engineers that are looking to learn how to engineer, I do offer one-on-one, basically a whole course or you can do it in a group call on Zoom with me. But the one-on-one, you can get a little bit more in-depth and break it down in your own pace. And then also make sure you guys go check out that Chris Streets album, No Apologies. That album is coming out very, very soon in December. And then make sure you guys go check out Famous Kid Brick Racks. That is out right now.
If somebody did want to work with you, where are they going to reach out to you?
And if you do want to work with me, hit me on Instagram, Dynasty on the Mix, and I will get back to you on there. Or if you have Facebook, Nathaniel Hill, but Instagram is really where I do most of my business. So hit me on Instagram, Dynasty on the Mix.
Appreciate you coming out, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, bro. It's always now.
Hell yeah, man.
Love, bro.
Love you, man.
That was
I'm a living fucking legend.